This is actually my most favorite tractor on the whole farm. It's the third one I've owned. This is a 1956 Farmall 200 that replaced the Farmall Super C in 1954, and it was in production a little bit over 2 years before itself being replaced by the 230. And it's really similar to the Super C. The only real difference was some sheet metal, and they did turn the RPMs a little bit. It turned up the RPMs a little bit to get a couple more horsepower out of it, but other than that, it's really a Super C. So a pretty common option with a 200 was the fast hitch, and that was proprietary for International Harvester. John Deere wanted to buy the rights to it at one time, but International refused to sell it, which was, in my mind, a huge mistake. The Super C has a 4-speed transmission. All the parts really are interchangeable with the Super C except for the sheet metal. It's just my favorite tractor of all the tractors I've owned or do own. It's really a pleasure to drive, actually. And so I've had 2 Super Cs, and like I said, I've had 3 of these. One of the Super Cs had a wide front end. I kind of wished I'd kept the wide front end to put on here, but I just didn't feel like taking it off at the time, which is just laziness on my behalf. But I do like the narrow front end because, for one thing, I can park more stuff in there with a narrow front end. It does turn on a dime, and I just don't take it anywhere where stability would be a problem anyway. It's in semi-retirement. I run it, I use it, but I'm very careful of it. I don't take it anywhere where I would be in danger. And I learned if you push it all the way to the right, and even though there's no gear in front of reverse, if you bring it all the way to the right and shove it ahead, then it just goes right in. So all the way to the right, you have to double clutch it all the way to the right and up, and then slides right in. So that was second, and there's first gear. So I want to kind of take it slow going uphill. With the Harrows on, they're pretty. It's a 7-foot Harrow on this thing, and it does get pretty light on the front end, even with weights on it. And so I'm the second owner of this tractor, and the story I got, which is why the hood's dented down a little bit, is the farmer would have his wife sit in front of the muffler on the hood for ballast. And whether that's true or not, I couldn't tell you, but that's the story that was told me when I bought this tractor. And I do have the original manual for it. It's just a really interesting thing, and I'm going to leave that little dimple right in there because it's part of this tractor's history. There was a dent in the grill that I pounded out, but this one right here is just I know the story behind it, so I'm leaving it. My great uncle in the 1960s and 50s used to drink Ballantine ale, and I find these bottles pretty frequently around the farm, and it's actually kind of cool because I feel like he's here with me, kind of looking over me, making sure I'm not messing up his farm. But my uncle Al said, "Here's your bottle." Every once in a while I'm hearing a little knock on the left hand side. When I sold my Super C, it had a new tire on the left, and this 200 had mismatched tires. So I think the wheel weight on the left needs to be tightened up, and you can hear that little thump every once in a while. So before I go do any Harrowing, I'm going to tighten that down. There it goes. Did you hear that? come with these hooks, and a lot of them got lost. And you can see the ones with the fast hitch, there's actually a clip that goes right here, and then there's a loop inside that this goes to. And part of the hardest part of getting these off a lot of times is the little ear gets stuck. So you kind of have to finesse the hitch a little bit, but then you pop those up, and I usually put it in second, and then you gotta want to kind of take off with a start, not necessarily pop the clutch, but take off with a little bit of a jolt to break free. Just a couple of quick lessons I've learned. Number one is you don't want to take sharp corners with the disc harrows on the fast hitch, in part because I had a 230 and I did it too sharp, and I ended up breaking part of the fast hitch, and I was able to get it welded, so it wasn't a big issue, but still I broke it and the tractor was unusable until I got it fixed. I see people sometimes do this with 3-point equipment, and the torque it exerts on the implement and the hitch is such that a lot of times you'll end up breaking the sway on your 3-point hitch. And second of all, when you're harrowing, if you're taking too sharp a corner, you're actually pushing all the material out towards the end of the garden, and you don't really want to do that. You want to keep it pretty much where it is. So what I typically do is make wide sweeps, and then when I get close inside the middle, I'll make a wide sweep, go over what I've already done, and then come back up in the middle. And if I have to, I'll back up, drop the implement, and then drive over and finish up. But anyway, that's it. We're done here, so we'll put this away. Appreciate everybody watching, and we'll see you again soon.